because a lot of this stuff is stored in our subconscious mind, therefore we don't actually see it. But once we bring it to kind of like just spitting it out, things will come out that we didn't realize were there, and then we can actually see them and acknowledge them and start to rewire them. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for this video. I'm going to be talking all about how to heal your imposter syndrome at the root. Imposter syndrome is something that I still kind of deal with. I feel like everyone deals with it, and it's basically feeling like you are not worthy of the experiences or the position or the role that you're taking on. Imposter syndrome, according to Google, is an occurrence in which some people doubt their skills, talents, or accomplishments and have a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as frauds. So to me, that may feel like getting a new job and not feeling like you're smart enough to be in the role, or like you've had enough experience, or getting a position in a sports game and feeling like you're not capable enough to be able to, help the team out the way that they're expecting you to. And basically just feeling like you don't belong in the role that you're in. And I think this can play out in so many forms. It can play out in relationships, in romantic relationships, in friendships, in family roles, as being a mother or having a pet or living on your own. It can play out in such mundane tasks. And I think it's something that we really need to acknowledge and also not shy away from, because it's there for a reason. By the way, definitely let me know. I got a mic, I have like everything set up, and I feel like it just looks really nice. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, then check out the YouTube video so you can see the video format of the setup if you're interested. Also, by the way, my podcast is linked down below if you're watching this on the YouTube video. Let's get right into it. So I want to say, first of all, that imposter syndrome is not being humble, it's being insecure. I think that a lot of the times we consider ourselves being humble by having imposter syndrome, or we look at our imposter syndrome and say, oh, it's because, I'm just so humble and I just know that I'm grounded and I'm realistic, or I don't think so highly of myself. But at the end of the day, it is kind of a form of self-sabotaging if you're looking at it in that way. And it's you excusing yourself for being insecure. It's you dimming your light and shrinking yourself and forcing yourself to see yourself as less than you actually are. And I think it's important to remember that we are all worthy simply because we're human. Regardless of whether you've gone to school for this or whether you've done the training and you have all of this life experience, you yourself are worthy and you yourself have something to offer that nobody else does. I think it's so important to look at ourselves as a part of nature, and whether it's as a snowflake or a leaf or a water drop, anything, a tree, the stars, the planets, we are all unique and we are all one of one, and that is completely what makes us worthy. So whether you feel like you're actually providing value or not, you are just by being you. And I think that's important to remember, because it takes away the pressure of needing to give and give and give and give. You can just be, and that in itself is enough. And who you are at your purest core is love, and is something that is worthy of being seen and that is needed in this world. And constantly reminding yourself that, especially in times of feeling like you're not worthy or good enough of being in certain situations. No matter what you have done, you are worthy of being there. You could literally be a beginner, you could be a newborn, and you're still worthy of being in any position that you're in, just because you're human, just because you're here. So I also want to say that I have started to look at imposter syndrome as fear and not an indication of unworthiness. Something that I've done is started to see imposter syndrome as fear and not an indication of unworthiness. I like to look at it as a way of my body saying, oh, I'm scared of this, and not, oh, this is my gut feeling that I'm actually not supposed to be here. And when I've done this, it actually gives me an opportunity to face my fears and to do it regardless of my fear. And in doing so, it actually causes me to gain a lot of confidence. As you do things that scare you, you build confidence on those aspects, and you're giving yourself a almost repertoire of things that you have accomplished in the past that have scared you. So it gives you a reason to trust that you can handle whatever thing is scaring you. The confidence that comes from facing your fears is immense, and you can use imposter syndrome as a way to fuel you pushing forward rather than cowering away. So now I want to go into the steps that I have used to look into the deeper rooted meanings and causes of my imposter syndromes. So the first thing that you want to do is understand that this comes from a core, deeper belief. We all have deep-rooted beliefs about ourselves, and I feel like there's usually one or two that really are the core root of everything, and then all of our other beliefs kind of just spiral out like a spider web into other different beliefs. And I think it's important to acknowledge that this feeling of imposter syndrome is coming from a belief. So maybe you can sit down and start to write down, why do I feel unworthy of being blank? So let's say, for example, we're going to use the example of being rich, because I feel like a lot of people do struggle with feeling like we can't have enough money, like we shouldn't be rich, like it's shameful to be rich, like being rich is a bad thing, or that it's not attainable for us. So we're going to use that example. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, why do you feel unworthy of being rich? You can go into whether it was past experiences, or, if you feel like people will look at you a certain way. Just go into as much detail and write as much as you can. And when I say this, it doesn't have to be like perfectly handwritten, beautiful journaling. This can be something that is complete chicken scratch or bullet points. You're just trying to actually get your thoughts out onto paper so that you can then see them, because a lot of this stuff is stored in our subconscious mind. Therefore, we don't actually see it. But once we bring it to kind of like just spitting it out, things will come out that we didn't realize were there, and then we can actually see them and acknowledge them and start to rewire them. So yeah, first question is, why do you feel unworthy of being rich? Then you want to go into, when did you first feel unworthy of being rich? So what was the first instance that you can remember where you felt unworthy? Was something said to you? Did you overhear something from a parent? Were you in a circumstance? Did you have a thought about someone else? What's the experiences you've had that have created this feeling of unworthiness towards the topic? Then the next thing you can ask yourself is, what was the belief that you developed from this situation that you experienced? So if, let's say, you overheard your family saying that, oh, we don't have enough to afford a gift for your birthday. What was the belief that you then developed because of that situation? Was it that you weren't worthy of being gifted to, that there wasn't enough for you, that you don't deserve nice things, that you're never gonna have enough, that there isn't enough for you, that you don't belong? Like, what was the real core belief that you started to adopt because of the situation that has happened? Once you have that answer, that is the belief that you need to heal. So try and break that down into most simple terms. So try and go into, is it that you're not good enough, that you aren't worthy of love, that there aren't enough resources in the world? Whatever that core belief is, try and simplify it, and then that's the belief that you're going to try and rewire. And when it comes to rewiring it, this is the long process of basically just practice and working towards it over and over and over again. So some things that I love to do that I always preach about is affirmations. I love to write my affirmations. This morning I literally just sat and wrote a bunch of affirmations, like whatever was coming to mind. Just kept going on and on and on, writing pages about what I think I am or what I would like to be, and what I know I am in my purest form, but maybe don't actually feel in this exact moment. So yeah, affirmations are a big one. Another one is how you speak in your daily life. Try to become aware if you're actually fueling this belief with your words. If you constantly are hearing yourself say like, oh, I'm always broke, or oh, I don't have enough, or oh my God, I'll never be making that amount of money, or talking badly about people who do have the things that you want, or seeing it as a bad way, like try to become aware of the way that you're speaking about it, as well as the things that you're consuming around this topic. If you're watching a lot of content that actually is like nurturing this belief, maybe you want to pull back from that. Or if you're in circumstances where you are around a lot of people who are also fueling this belief, and friends that are talking about how you're broke or that they're broke or whatever it is, maybe try and either pull away from these people as much as possible. I know that can be hard, and especially with family members, if you're living with someone, that's a lot easier said than done. But at the least become aware of it and mindful of it, and acknowledge that that's not a belief that you have to carry, and that that's their own responsibility. And you can heal yourself and then eventually heal them, but you don't have to take that on right now. And it's important to stay focused on helping yourself, because once you fill up your own cup, you can then overflow into everybody else's. So yeah, basically you're just trying to rewire that belief. If you want like a full video on how to rework your beliefs, I could definitely do that, but I would just say repetition and constantly becoming aware of your thoughts. You could do this through meditations, through reading books on the topic that you're feeling insecure about. You can watch YouTube videos on how to feel whatever the opposite way is that you're feeling. So if you're feeling broke, how to feel rich, or how to become rich, or how to change your money mindset, or there's so many different things depending on what the topic that you're feeling imposter syndrome about. And you'll actually start to notice that a lot of the times your imposter syndrome actually shows up in similar situations. So you may feel like, oh, it happens at school, and then it happens at home, and then it happens at work, and then it happens at the gym, or like it's different sorts of things. But if you really look at it, it's usually around the same belief that is kind of just affecting different trigger points. And that just means that it's wanting to be acknowledged. There's something that I heard Abraham Hicks say that always resonates with me, and it's that if something is bothering you or there's like a negative response to something, it's because it's not in alignment with your inner being. And to me, your inner being is the part of you that is connected to source. It is your most pure, authentic, loving, wholesome, unconditional self. And I think that if, let's say for example, you're feeling, oh, I'm broke, and that triggers a negative response of feeling restricted or sad or angry, that's because that doesn't align with who you really are on the inside. And so your body is trying to show you you're not in alignment with who you really are. So please acknowledge this thing so then we can become more in alignment with this thing. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I put that in a understandable way. I don't know if I did, but yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and talk about that, because imposter syndrome is something that I think about all the time, and I think a big way that it's come forward with me is through spirituality and with YouTube in general. Like with just posting and talking about, sharing my opinions on things or the lessons I've learned, me feeling like, oh, like why am I qualified to give that advice? Why am I qualified to say anything? And I had to like really look at that and try and figure out what the core belief was that was causing that feeling, and then acknowledge that, yeah, maybe I'm not at 100%. Maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe I'm not like this mastermind on spirituality and self-development, but I do have something to offer, and regardless of what stage I'm at in my journey, I do have something to offer in this moment, as did I 10 years ago, and as will I 10 years from now. I will always have something to offer, and just like acknowledging that and reminding myself that even though things scare me, I can still do them, and it'll give me that confidence to do more things that scare me and to evolve and expand. It's lovely. It's a great experience to be on, and you don't have to shy away from anything that you feel unworthy of or that you feel like you're scared to do. You should do it regardless, and you should face your fears, and you should acknowledge that you deserve to be in every single space that you are in. You deserve to spread your arms in whatever room you are in. You are worthy of a place. I was speaking with this healer that I go to, and she said to me that no matter where your feet touch on earth, you are home. And that just spoke to me so much, because no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, no matter what space you're in, you deserve to be there as much as anybody else in the room. You are worthy of your existence. You deserve every single thing that you have gotten, and all of the desires that you want in the future. You are worthy of them and you deserve them. And the more that you come back to that realization and that knowing, and you consistently remind yourself, the more that you'll attract more things to you and also be able to give more things. So I really hope this video at least gave you some ease in terms of feeling insecure in whatever space you're in, and if you could hopefully take some of these steps away and actually put them into practice. I love you so much. By the way, I don't think I even introduced myself in this video, but I am Erin, and I post a little peek into my life and also my mind. So if you'd like to stick around, definitely subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much. I'm so happy with my YouTube channel, and I feel really glad that I've, gotten to the place that I'm in right now, and I love my new setup, and I just am feeling really good. I'm back from my vacation, so I'm feeling really inspired and excited to post, and I have so many video ideas, as I always say. And yeah, I think that's all for now. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.